I just found out I was going to be speaking not too long ago, so I'm a little nervous, so you'll have to forgive me. But when you think about at-risk youth, do you think about people like me? Because I'm 21 years old, but I grew up being the victim of other people's decisions for my entire life. When I was born 4 pounds 6 ounces to parents who were severely addicted to crack cocaine. By the time I was a year old, I had been transferred from my mother to my father to my paternal grandmother to my maternal grandmother. By the time I was 10, I was in foster care. By the time I was 17, I had been in close to 50 placements and probably somewhere around 10 to 15 foster homes. It's ridiculous. My entire life I have spent trying to overcome things that were not my fault. When I aged out of the system, I aged out thinking that, it was finally time to make my life be my own. It was time to get out in the world and to have an impact and to finally do the things that I wanted to do with my life. But I had no support, something that at that age I didn't realize was quite that necessary. I was 17 years old when I graduated high school. I worked hard. I had a 3.9 GPA when I graduated. But by the time I was 19 years old, I was sleeping on my friend's couch because I didn't have any support. There is nobody to call if I didn't make rent. There is nobody to help me when I had a problem. And I think that people don't really realize how necessary that support is when you don't have anybody else. I never had anybody else. I didn't ask to go to foster care. I didn't ask for these things to happen to me, but they did. And at a time where, the federal government or somebody should have stepped in because of the decisions that they made for my life, they weren't there. Eventually, I came to Bridging the Gap Mile High United Way, and their foster care vouchers saved my life. They did, on a very realistic level, and it's not like an overstatement. Like, they literally saved my life. They took me off the street. Their voucher is the reason why I'm here today. Their voucher is the reason why I'm in college today. Without them, I wouldn't. But due to the sequester, that funding is gone. Like right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year. It's gone now. I just recently spoke to a close friend of mine, and she had a friend who had came out of, I don't know, someplace in Colorado that I didn't even know existed, and came down here to be a part of Bridging the Gap because of their program. She had been doing the same thing that I had been doing, couch surfing, asking friends for help, unwilling people who they're like, oh, well, but we can't help you. And she came looking for an opportunity to advance. She didn't find one. Within a month, she was in a worse position than she was before. She had to go back to the poor position that she was in because the sequester made it so she was on a wait list. She doesn't have time for a wait list. She needs help yesterday. So that's something that I don't think people really realize when you talk about these things. Medicare, yes, I believe it's important. We don't have an infrastructure that really, we verbally say that will help those who are most disenfranchised. But when it comes to raising our hands and actually putting forth the effort to make sure that these things are taken care of, nobody's really ever there. Whether it be for the elderly citizens of our nation or whether it be for the youth like me, these things need to be taken care of, and the rights of the people who can't speak for themselves or, really don't know where to go, they need to be advocated for. And I just wanted to let you guys know that we do exist and we are here.
And we are really proud of you, number one. Number two, there's a big group of us in Congress who know you and people like you are there, and we're fighting for you every day. And I want to thank you for getting up here, because I can say it, we can all say it, but to hear you say it, that's what matters. So thank you. Woo!
Before we open it up to everyone in the audience, hopefully you're thinking about your question right now. I want to let you know that we have about 20 minutes after Raquel's story to ask the Congresswoman questions. But we're very grateful for you being here today, and we'd love to hear from you.
I can't hear you.
Oh, of course. And you can't hear me, but we can hear you. So would you like to share your story?
I just... Book in her hand.
What are you telling? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no. Go ahead and we'll take one more.
In the blue.
Okay, please. Here you go.
I'm glad to be asked to be here. I've spent my life in education and nursing. I'll soon be 94 years old. And if I have anything to say, it's get all the education you can get. It's the only thing nobody can ever take away from you. Thank you.
That must be wonderful. This is a wonderful thing. Anyway, I'm Rachel Hernandez. I'm a senior. Social Security is the only income I have to live on. The amount I get is about $889 per month, with $200 I get for food stamps above that. The rent at the senior complex at which I live, which is subsidized size, I can't even say that, but anyway, it takes more than half of my income just for my place to live. It varies because of the utilities go up and down. All of the bills, including car insurance and non-food items, must be paid from the rest of the money. This is not enough to live in a very positive manner, much less a wealthy one. At least I have a place to live, and I have food to eat. I've had to make many sacrifices. There's many things I'm not able to have or to do anymore. I can only afford 1 tank of gas per month, which limits my transportation. I cannot afford a bus pass or light rail tickets on top of that. It will be next to impossible to meet ends if this cost of living or any of this income that I receive is cut. Many individuals are forced to live on less than I make, and it's very difficult. We have all paid into Social Security during our many years of work. Social Security is our money that has been taken out of our income. It's not a gift. I've worked all my life, and I'm about 68 years old now, and I'm unable to work. My husband died July 4th, 2011, and did not leave me any financial assistance. So Social Security is the only income I have. My husband's retirement and various temporary jobs provide income for us when we were alive. But the house was foreclosed when he died, and several bills could not be paid anymore due to the lack of finances. My husband and I ran a food bank for seniors and their families for over 11 years. We were providing food for over 3,000 to 4,000 individuals a month. The funding for food banks stopped in December 2011 across the United States of America. We were forced to close the food bank. If other agencies had other things besides food bank, they were able to keep going. If the Social Security money had not been available for me, I would be homeless today. Both my husband and I worked for many years, and we worked hard. We're educated. We both have college education. We both had above average incomes. Due to life situations, our savings were depleted. Many individuals that are living on Social Security had good and decent jobs, and now they're barely able to stay alive.
I get less than 600.
All right.
Wow, still works.
So I'm going to let Sean go ahead and pick the first question.
All right, I guess the first question will be in the first row.
I want to thank Congresswoman DeGette for being here today and for her strong support for Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. These safety networks are absolutely crucial to a civilized society. All the other developed nations of the world have social networks that are even stronger than ours. And I would like to suggest a budget solution that you might think about. And that is to expand Medicare to include all of us from birth to death in one coverage. It would save trillions of dollars.
You know, when we negotiated, thank you for that comment, and we've talked about that before, if we did a single payer solution for our healthcare system, that essentially would be Medicare for everybody. And as you know, Medicare is probably the most successful health care program in this country right now. It's efficient, it has widespread support among its recipients, and we're working to make it even stronger every day. Like Max said, letting the Secretary of HHS negotiate prescription drug prices would bring costs down, lots of other things. But as one of the negotiators who helped